Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Speak and Grow Rich podcast. Today we have the one and the only Sybil Henry. Hi.
Hi.
And Sybil is an incredible stylist. In fact, I had the pleasure and honor of working with her for my very first event. I flew to LA. I was so schwanky. I flew from Utah to LA. And you and I had a consult before. We went shopping, and you had this vision for me. And you said, Jennifer Aniston off the yacht in San Tropez. That's the look we're going for. Now, granted, I was more of like a very natural curly hair, never wore makeup, never did lashes, never had a spray tan, never had even worn tight dresses, never even did any of this. Okay, so I go there, meet her. We have this fantastic shopping adventure. Then she hired an image stylist for my event it was like I guess like the glam squad.
Mm-hmm.
And they came, and it wasn't glam, but they came, and she had the vision, and they did my makeup and my hair. And I had never seen myself in that way. And you are a genius. Not only that, I worked with you then on stage, but I also worked with you for a photo shoot in LA. I invested $5,000 for a photo shoot with Christina Marassi. And so funny because right before we started, I have this little heart right here. I got this in Peru. I used to wear this on my neck like this with a pink thread. And you were like, honey, you can't have a pink thread. Like, it was literally like yarn in your photo shoot. And you were so helpful because we all have our story about where we came from with the image and styling and et cetera. So thank you, Sybil, for all the things that you've helped me with. I can't wait to interview you and for you to help the other people watching have a transformation like I did.
Oh, that is so sweet. Thank you. I have the best memories of our time together every time we've ever spent together. And I was saying to you earlier, I'm like, you are so fully transparent in who you appear to be. You really are. You are at all times. And I just really appreciate you're just a beautiful soul. And it has been an honor for me to support you and to see your journey. You weren't here when you were not here.
I was not there.
You were not here. No, for anyone who is, on that climb at the earlier part of the journey, I think you had spent like the last of your money to make this happen here in LA. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
That? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was like my last $200 situation. She was there, guys, during my last $200 situation.
Yeah. I can say I'm a testament to that. I witnessed the journey from the last $200 to now where you are. And let me say that when we were here in LA together, you claimed this. You saw this for yourself and you rolled the dice on yourself. So I'm going to tell this little story. We were out and about, and we went to a juice bar in, I think it was Santa Monica. We're pulling up, and I was just chatting it away with you. We were talking, and I was saying, okay, so whatever the context was of the question, you said, oh, making money is so easy for me. It's as easy as making a smoothie. Now, we were going to a juice and a smoothie bar. Uh-huh. And I just looked at you, I'm like, oh my God, she's claiming it and as a gift. She was like, oh, I'm gonna, and you called out what you intended to do, and you were sitting here, and I've seen it all unfold. And that's the power of belief, but it's also the power of vision and intention. And that's what you had on your last $200. Had the belief and the vision of what was possible for you. And that brings me so much joy to see it.
Rolled the dice, and I didn't give up. Yes.
You never gave up. You never gave up. You dug in, and you shared so much of your wisdom on your journey of when it was difficult and when it was something to celebrate and cheer. And you've been transparent through all of it. And you're here.
Thank you.
So inspiring.
It's been fun. It's been a roller coaster. So there's people out there, and I've, put my arms up, and I'm enjoying the ride. Yes. There are people here who want to speak on stage. And I was telling you before, I said, everybody needs a stylist. Everybody needs a stylist, unless you're just really gifted and you get a lot of compliments about how great you look and how great your style is, then maybe you don't, but maybe you do too. Okay. So tell us, like, give us your wisdom and your best nuggets. A lot of the people watching this, they're speakers. They may just be on the virtual stage right now, videos, Zoom stage, or they are in person out networking and on stage.
Okay, I would love to, and thank you. Let me just say again, it's so wonderful to be here and to see your sparkle. So I would love to share. And by the way, if anyone has questions, please I see the panel here and just ask me a question, but I'm going to answer your question directly. You said everyone needs a stylist. And if you have the gift and maybe you don't, here's the interesting thing that I learned. First of all, there is a difference between dressing for the camera and dressing for the mirror. Very different. The camera picks up different nuances of the visual impression. The camera's picking up light. And so dressing for the mirror, you don't see what you see on a camera, whether it be a video camera or a still camera. And so knowing that difference and knowing how to dress for your image that you want to project, what you want people to know about you and remember about you and kind of own it in people's minds is huge. And because people will look at you and make an impression, some people say 7 seconds, but it's in the blink of an eye. They will make an impression of you in the blink of an eye. And so there's kind of an energy we feel about someone being aligned from the inside to the outside, and we will click away or we'll look away. And so for me, I think the number one reason for a stylist, and whether it's me or anyone else, I'm not trying to be self-promoting about me, it's for the concept of it really does take a village. The higher you go in your industry, the more it matters of how you show up. And not just for your audience, for you, because it starts with you, connecting with yourself first, and you got to feel good.
You do. And I think systematizing that in a way, because at the higher up you go, the less time you have, there's more demand. There's more. So what are some great tips for people? So I hear what you're saying. How can we actually dress our truth or dress in a way that people don't click away?
Well, there are a number of ways, and that's a great question, because ultimately it's knowing who you are. And until people will follow you, for people to know who you are, you got to know who you are for yourself first. So everything starts with you. And through our process, as you know, to get to know who you are, we evolve and we change. The core of who we are does not change. You're the same person from 10 years ago. I am, in terms of the foundation. The foundation is very stable, but the evolution of life, of who we grow into. And so it's basically 3 things. It is who we are in terms of our personality, who we are in terms of our values, and then what we stand for in terms of the business, and that those 3 things intersect. And then that's from the inside of who you are. And then ultimately it is understanding how to translate and interpret that into clothing, through color, through style, through shape. So that's really the bottom line of what it is.
So what are some fashion or stylist do nots? What should we avoid doing?
Okay, first of all, I think it's important to know when it's time to find a stylist. And also, and it can happen. It can happen for someone like you, who you were driven to move your life forward, and you were on your last $200. So, not everyone has the courage to do that, but it's knowing at what stage of your career are you ready to make the impact and be memorable for what you do and who you are. The second is knowing what kind of stylist you need, because there are several different kinds of stylists. I'm a personal women's stylist, and I function as a coach. So it's for me to help you understand the process of knowing what you stand for in terms of your brand, your body, and your style, inside of your personality, your values, and what you do. So that's what I do. And I do it so that my clients can know that and become their own best advocate for their own image. So even though people hire me over and over, you still know it. But sometimes you just want to outsource it. You're busy.
Mhm.
So it's knowing what kind of stylist to hire versus a wardrobe stylist or a shopper, someone who just gets things for you, right?
Right.
And then I'd say the next thing is knowing when to say yes, when to say maybe, and when to say no. And I always say a maybe is a no,
Yep.
and a no is a no, but a yes has to be a really strong landed yes, because everyone's closet has limited space, no matter how big your house is.
Mhm.
And
True.
so every single hanger that fits in your closet needs to work for you. It works for you. The clothing we wear is a business investment for the side of our business.
Mhm.
And when you make a choice and a piece of clothing has earned the right to be brought home, paid for, brought home, and put in your closet, it's taking up space. So
Yes.
is it earning that space? And so it earns that space when all of those things are aligned.
Hmm. So do you recommend people go through their closet and say, this is a yes, this is a no, this is a maybe, and then get rid of all the no's?
Absolutely. I think that's I think that's so important because closets carry energy. We
Yeah.
can't go in our closet and not feel anything, no matter what we.
Right?
So important to feel, and we do it every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. And so how we start the day, how we choose, everything has an intention of how we want to feel. The way you got dressed today in that gorgeous shade of pink, you
Yes.
know, there was an
Thank you.
intention about how you wanted to show up, how you wanted to feel. And so you didn't choose that randomly and not care.
Hmm.
So everything that is a no would not deliver what I see today in this little Zoom box on you. And
Right.
it's so powerful what I'm feeling and seeing. And it's an image that you're leaving an impression and a memory in our minds of the audience. But I can also feel that you're good, like you feel good from your choice.
Hmm.
And
I
so
do.
no,
You got to see my shoes. I mean, look at my
I'd love
shoes.
to see your shoes. Oh God, that is so you. That is so cool. I love
I
that.
know. They're Kyrie. They're called. I bought them, and my son was like, "Oh, those are Kyrie's." So
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
So
And it's
yeah.
fun. You're sporty. Part of your brand is sporty. So of course. And
Right.
you're
I'm
fun.
sporty. I'm
Yeah.
definitely sporty. I'm getting into the runners. I had a presentation today, and they don't see my legs, but I still get dressed all the way, even though I'm presenting on Zoom. It
But
just
that's
makes me
about the
feel more
energy,
professional. Yeah.
right? It's the energy of professionalism. So you could deliver like a pro that you are. And those are
Hmm.
like your little ninja mind tricks that helps you, right? And so we all
Yes.
need that. There's no one out there in the world with a big brand and a big image that doesn't get help. No one. Not
Right.
everyone may not want to say it. But those
Mhm.
people who are getting those big endorsement deals with the clothing line and all that, it's the stylist behind the scenes.
Right. And as you evolve, so I met you in my well, I guess my late 30s. Now I'm in my late 40s.
Yeah.
It's like there's certain things that I wore then that I wouldn't wear now. So you evolve. Let's talk about age, and but you have a book, right? It's
I
called
have a book.
Dressier. Tell us about it.
Yeah, Style Yourself over 40, 50 and beyond. I wrote that book before I launched my business. I launched my business at 48, but I thought, hold on. It was after my corporate career, 25 years. I was a fashion designer. Um, and uh, and so I felt like I'm not starting a business until I have a point of view, something to say. And by then, I wrote that book before I launched because I knew once I launched the business, I would get busy. And that's exactly what happened. So I'm glad I did that in that order.
Smart.
Um, but that was just lucky. I didn't even, I mean, I was a hunch that I thought, but oh my gosh, I'm glad I went with what I thought I believed at that time.
Mhm.
It worked out. And so, so age and really evolving. I believe, I have so many clients. I serve men and women. Men are simple to style, so simple,
Yes.
so simple, because they don't have the layers of cultural complexities that we have. Uh, Ageism is not quite the same for them. They have some body issues going on, but
Mhm.
not to the degree that we have. So we have so much, and I love the challenge that women present because ultimately it can be so healing and so empowering.
Yes.
And men have no problem stepping into their power. You know,
Hmm.
they just own it, even if
Yep.
it's not all the way baked and done. They just will claim it.
Yep.
But the work I love with women, especially as women are aging, is to feel as powerful as you are, because the age
Mhm.
is our wisdom and our experience is our expertise, and it just adds to what we can do with our gift and serve. So it's really a
Yes.
beautiful thing. And so the key is to continue to invest in ourselves every bit as much as we age in our whatever part of your image that you see, keeping the maintenance up with our hair. I have dark hair,
Yep.
so those grays, I got to keep that up. You know, I can't let that go. That's for me because of the image that I want and need,
Right.
and what it means to me. Uh, Keeping it modern of what it means for me.
Hmm.
And so I used to say, would you sleep on those sheets? And so what that means is that if you are making a choice for a hotel, you want to know that that hotel is keeping up on the maintenance. You want to
Hmm.
know that their cleaning crew, you hear them in the hallways all day long.
Right.
You want to know that they've updated and modernized, even if there've been a chain for 50 plus years, they're staying up on it
Hmm.
because of the guest experience, and their brand is important for them to continue to invest. Same with us.
Yes.
We're asking people to trust us and invest in us, and we've got to trust and invest in our own image so that we
Mhm.
convey, I take care of myself and I'm going to be taking care of you. It's all subliminal, but it's
It is.
important.
It really is. And then it makes you feel good about you.
Yeah.
And to your point about how women, it is so emotional too. And I think that, especially for, we all have a backstory about why our style is this way or why it's not this way or why we're showing up as this way. And in my example, I wore a uniform for 13 years, Catholic school. And like that horrible polyester, just starchy plaid, and then the Peter Pan collar. And I grew up Catholic, and there was a lot of like the femininity was really squandered, and we were just supposed to, fit in and wear the uniform. So I had to learn. I didn't know how to dress in high school or in college. I didn't know, I just like I did not look good. So I should show you guys some old photos. I don't have any anywhere on my walls, but you have, depending on your background or even your culture or your upbringing or your family. Another part of me, because my dad was, I know this is on the internet, but my dad, let's just say my dad loves the ladies, and I never wanted to be looked at.
Yes.
I could feel that as a young girl, and he never did that to me or anything, but I could tell that I didn't want to be looked at like that. So I made myself look, dumb myself down in a lot of ways. All subconsciously, I wasn't like, I'm gonna go and dumb myself down. So what would you say for people who they know inside there's another version of them, but they're not unleashing that yet? They're afraid of it. They don't know what it is. That they try, but they don't fit in, but they don't feel good. But they go shopping, they go to Target, they go to Walmart, they go to these places. I don't know where people shop, and like they can't find anything and they don't know what to wear. And maybe Nordstrom's or those higher rack places are too expensive for them, or they don't know what to buy there.
Okay. Love everything about this for a number of reasons. First of all, I always say, I'm quoting myself quite a bit right now. But it's
Might as well.
so much is happening here in this conversation, and I'm just, oh, it's just so juicy. First of all, a shopping problem is just a style problem. That's all it is. That's all it is. Once you know your style, I had a client say, once I knew this, and I gave her the template, you have your template. Once I knew what I stood for, she said it shopping was like a parting of the sea. I knew my
Yep.
colors, I knew the silhouette
Yes.
for my body, I knew the
Yes.
style that expresses my personality and my value. She goes, it just became clear. How did I not know this before? I'm like,
Right.
because no one's going to tell you in the fashion industry, because they're built on profit, they're built on change, they're built on you pulling you into purchase every single season for a new trend. So then your style
Hmm.
will look schizophrenic all over the place, and you're guided by a salesperson telling you it looks good. The most dangerous customer shopping for clothes is a woman who knows her style,
So
because
good.
you can say no. You can say no,
Right.
thank you. That's not me. I have angered so many salespeople through the years between me or shopping with a client, and they come up to you, hey, we got this. Oh no, thank you. That's not my style. I'm okay. And so they
Mhm.
want to manipulate you into making that purchase for that commission
Right.
or all the other reasons. So so it is really, really important to be educated on what is your style. And for someone, and by the way, I can't even believe you wore a uniform for 13 years. So did I. That's
Yeah.
unbelievable. That's how that was part of what became this profession. Um,
That's cool.
yeah, but it's knowing your style, and so many of the experiences that we basically today, almost all of us are a a what is this word I'm looking for? We are
Carbon copy.
no, we are everything that has happened to us is a collection, for lack of a better word. The collection is not the name word I'm looking for, but cumulative. We
Mm-hmm.
are accumulation of all the experiences we had from our past. We're
Yes.
not our future yet. We have a vision for it, but and so the way we get to that vision better, stronger, and easier is we can understand the parts of our history that is blocking us, that is keeping us stuck.
Right.
And the work that I do is helping women. It's a fast process. It happens so quickly, but the
Right.
insight and awareness of why you feel a certain way, why you're unable to why you're unable to say yes to yourself, or why you're unable to, why you want to be generic and why you don't want to stand out, or why I have so many examples.
Right.
Or like this one client who never wore skirts or dresses ever. And if that's her true, authentic style, that's great. But it wasn't true and authentic. There was a block. And
Yep.
her dad used to call her Thunder, excuse me, choke on that, Thunder Thighs, because it was so painful to her. And
Yes.
when she was a little girl, she was athletic and she had big thighs. It's like,
Oh,
hey, Thunder Thighs. But
so rude.
as a 7-year-old, 8-year-old, as a little girl, you think he's saying something's wrong with my thighs. And so
Right.
she integrated that in her identity as I can't show my
Mm-hmm.
legs because they're thunder thighs.
Right.
She's in her 50s, right? Sharing this story. So
40, 50 years later, still struggling with that.
still, and so once we got the truth of what that meant, and God, help us as parents. I mean, we love our children, and there was nothing malicious about that. But
Right.
he was being playful in his way to maybe connect with us or whatever the reason was. But it's getting out of your own way by understanding what is holding you back. And if it's not serving you, we got to explore it. And it's a very quick process of
Mm-hmm.
getting it out of the way so that you can be you. You can be
Yep.
more of you. And ultimately, I know for me, I'm just chasing freedom. That's
Yes.
I want freedom in every way. And I want that I want whatever my clients want, but we're not fully free when we're held by our past.
True. And you like it's kind of cool. Like the style is a gateway to unlocking. It's almost therapy. It is therapy,
Therapeutic.
closet therapy, image therapy, really unleashing your true self, your authentic self, who you're really born to be.
Yeah.
I remember working with another stylist before I met you, and she said I would never wear tight skirts. And she said, okay, with a butt like that, just to be real, and calves like that, you have to show it off. You have to wear these A-line skirts. You don't hide that. And in my culture, I know I have a woman that was on my podcast where she helps people get butt lifts,
Mhm.
BBL, Brazilian butt lift. So she has this natural cream. But in my culture, that's not like every girl that I went to school with, like that's not what you want. Okay. But that's what I was gifted with, if you want to call it a gift. And and yet it took a stylist to say, no, this is actually your gift. This is one of the great things of your body. And why are you not showing it?
Exactly. Like, what if Beyonce thought her thighs and butt was too big, like, or
Mhm.
J Lo, and they hid
Right.
it? Then J Lo would be just a really pretty woman from the Bronx, and
Right.
Beyonce would be a really sweet woman from Houston. They would not
Yep.
be, and that's another thing. I
Yes.
usually help clients understand the body in terms of where's your brand body connection. Do you have
Mm.
a connection? And there's a client who I have, she wears size 18, 20, but for her, she always says, my clients just want to be on the breast. I mean, that's
Oh,
metaphorically
yes.
because she said they love me and they trust me and they want me to just kind of soothe them and give them the kind,
Yes.
right? And that's what she's known for. I'm not known for that, but
Brand body connection. That's super
brand body
cool.
connection. So for
That's
her,
way cool.
we helped her own every bit
Yes.
of the space she takes up in a room and in her power and the nurturing of like, okay, not literally,
Uh-huh.
but
Yes.
it aligns with her personality, with her gift as a coach, and what her clients need from her. If she were the size 2 version of that, it's like that don't work.
Like
So
you'll crush me. Yeah.
yeah, right. It's just like you don't, she didn't, and she's been, the other thing is she's been heavy as a child. So now in her 40s, you know, that's just not, and she wasn't trying to be that either, but we just worked it in a way where she could be fabulous right where she is and own it as part of the gift of her brand and what she stands for.
That's awesome. And so how do you help people discover their brand body connection?
Oh, that's so much fun because for women, God, I just did that with a man the other last month. For women, it's a lot of so I'll tell you this before. I help people by first we have to know your frame, like your body frame. I always say it's not the boobs and the butt, it's the bones, because you cannot change your bone structure. It's there, you're
Right.
born with it, and you're going to die with the same bone structure. It's really the fleshy parts that are covering the bones, and that's what we're all working with. And it goes. Hi, Coach Kiva. Thanks for that. It's the it's the expansion or the contraction of the flesh covering. And
Okay.
then it's the way you step into the world and your lifestyle habits that, you know, affect that. And so, and other factors as well, but generally you are your bone structure. So then we
Yeah.
look at your body as it is. With my number one approach is let's look at where you are now before we talk about weight loss and all that other, because this is the present moment, right? And
Yes.
no matter what happens in that future, we're going to embody the best version of you today. And how do we maximize you feeling fabulous just right now? And then we talk about your brand, because we had already done that in step 1. Step 1 is brand, step 2 is body. It's right in the middle. And the outcome of brand and body is style. That's the once we have it all together. Now we never do style first because we've got to know what you stand for. We got to know what your body is.
Right.
So it
Cool.
is that work in the body that we look at the brand and the body and they come together, and then it becomes clear and easy.
So good. I love it. Okay, so we can get your book. Do you work with groups of people? Do you work one-on-one? How can we best connect with you and take it to the next level?
Thanks for asking that. I have a couple ways anyone could work with me. I work with one-on-one in my private work, and that's a deep dive of basically what I've been sharing today. And it's an intimate process. I get in there and I just help you as a guide, right? So you find the answers for yourself. I don't tell, I guide. And
Yeah.
and that I believe is the only way that you have the lasting change. And then the second way you can work with me is through a group. And I dusted off my group, which is basically, it follows my private work. And I'm working with my guy right now, the tech guy, and he's helping me put it all together, back together again. And I'm launching and I'll be ready in January. So yeah, and anyone who's interested in working with me in the group, I am taking names right now. Sybil at the Style Concierge, and I'm giving pre-launch discounts for that. So working through all the details right now.
So repeat that again. Sybil what?
Sybil at thestyleconcierge.com.
Sybil at this styleconcierge.com. And then we can get your book where?
Amazon, Sybil Henry.
Sybil Henry. Wonderful. Any other connections or ways we can continue this going with you?
You can see me on Facebook, Sybil Henry. I think it's a Hi Sybil, but you know, if you put Sybil Henry in, you'll find me.
Okay, we'll find you in the interwebs.
Yes, I hope you find me. I'd love to connect with you all, or anyone who's interested in continuing conversation.
Yes, thank you. And before we go, what is your secret? Guys, I want you to put in the comments, how old do you think Miss Sybil is? Okay. And the people watching this on YouTube, I want you to guess. Okay. I thought she was, I mean, I guess if I'm 48, I was thinking 48. And then she just spilled the beans with me, how old she is, slash young. Go ahead and just spill the beans here. You're gonna want what she's got. Okay. So just go ahead and share. Go ahead, Sybil. How young are you?
I'm 62. Proudly.
Proudly. Okay.
Proudly.
Proudly 62. It's
Proudly.
incredible. I mean, what is your secret, girlfriend? Because you're making 60 look like the new 40, okay?
Okay, well, I gotta say 60 is the best decade ever. I love this. A fun fact, I did some research and I stumbled across this, that the two most productive, fulfilling decades is the 30s, but number one is the 60s.
Fulfilling and productive. Interesting.
Yes, there are more people who gain highest levels of personal satisfaction, arrived at where they want to be, or amassed wealth in their 60s.
Right? I have chills. I just like, here I come, 60. I'm
Oh, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. 60s are the best. I'm telling you, anyone who's nervous about it, please. I'm a truth teller. I would not BS anyone on this because I think this is a serious topic. Like, I would never lead anyone astray. But 60s, everything you wanted kind of culminates, comes together in terms of how you want to feel, how you want to be in the world, who you know yourself to be, the clarity of not just yourself, but what's around you. It all comes together and it's peaceful. It's beautiful.
Awesome. Yes. Wow. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. Well, obviously we want what you've got. So follow Sybil Henry. Thank you so much for your amazing time and your dedication to women and men and helping them really be their true authentic selves and express on the outside how they feel on the inside.
Yes, that's the bottom line. Thank you for bottom lining it so beautifully. And it's such a treat to be here to reconnect with you. You are just amazing. And I just love everything about where your journey has taken you.